Hi everyone, welcome to the session for the dynamic embedding-based retrieval for personalized item rank recommendation at Instacart. I'm Chuan Wei, currently machine learning engineer at Instacart. I'm tech lead for the personalized item ranking and the character ranking. This is a joint work with my colleagues Alan, Han, Ryan, David, and Haishun. So, as you may or may not know, Instacart is a leading online grocery shopping platform in North America. We are catering to over 90% of households in the US and Canada. To serve our customer, we have built an item ranking system that learns users' preference across the entire universe of grocery items, and present the most relevant ones to our customers. The core to this system is an embedding-based retrieval that fetches candidates from the billion-scale candidate pool, providing low latency, high availabilities. The whole system consists of a long-term user preference embedding model, a lightweight short-term session-based embedding model, other simple embedding-based models, and a statistic-based retrieval source, and of course, a dynamic retrieval system that have the optimal configuration for each retrieval source. Our long-term user embedding model draws inspiration from the famous two-tower models proposed by YouTube, while separate user and product tower are constructed to generate embedding before combining them into the dot product functions. And we consider this learning process as a classification task, where the past purchase history will be served as the positive example, and we have a sampling process to generate the negative examples. The user tower will take the input from largely the user's historical events. We'll talk about detail in the next slides. So as you can see, the long-term user embedding model takes three major classes of input. The one is user past history represented as the row observation sequence. And also we have some metadata and counting statistics as a dense features and other categorical features. For given the dynamic and sequential nature of the user's raw observations, we use the transformer-like blocks to encode this user history into a fixed length embedding. The way we do that is given a list of inputs, let's say product ID, we will replace the product ID with pre-trained product embedding based on their images, text informations, etc. Then we will have a sequence embedding fed to the transformer blocks, and after several blocks, we will have a pooling layer to have a fixed length embedding. While the categorical embedding, we will have this embedding matrix trained jointly with the model. And then we concatenate all those features together before the final merging layer. We will have the dense layer and the cross layer try to learn the interactions between the features. Different than the long-term user embedding model, the light-weighted session embedding consider more real-time signals. So although those features, we can definitely add them to the long-term user embedding model directly, but doing so will complicate it a lot. Basically slow down both the training and inference times. So we kind of consider separate this user tower inside as a long-term tower and a short-term tower, while the short-term tower consists mostly of these real-time signals. And we combine these two long-term and short-term embedding with linear combinations. So when we serve the system, we catch the long-term user embedding with a daily offline job, while the short-term user embedding generated on demand in real time. So as mentioned before, we use the customer's past purchase history as a positive label, and we have multiple sampling sources to construct the negative labels. The easy ones will be random negative, or harder one might come from the popular items, while all the items the user has impressed with but never converted before. And the evaluations are through the required K across different user segments based on user tenures, etc., to understand the business impact. So as you can see, we have many different sources to retrieve which each caters for a specific signal. But the problem is that we have a limited budget for total number of items we can rank. And we need to find the process of an optimal configurations for each retrieval source. And we consider this problem as a contextual bandit problem. Basically, the action space is number of retrieval sites for each source, and we consider whether the conversion as the reward. And we also include other session information, user metadata as a contextual features. And to make the training really the learning really feasible, we relax the action space from discrete choice to a real number. Basically, just have a softmax probability and times the the upper limit of number we want to retrieve. And to learn this model, we actually use the reward as a sum of log likelihood, and we actually adjust the weight based on the popularity of the within the retrieval source and between the retrieval source to adjust for the exposure bias. So although given the many components of the system, we are still evolving it to make it better. We are doing work like enriched product understanding with large language model, and also we want to go bigger on model and the training data set. We find that offline it improves our model performance. And so also we are adding richer contextual information for our dynamic decision system. So yes, thanks everyone for listening to this presentation, and please stay tuned for our long paper version. Thanks.